Schumann. I'm so lucky because it's a really beautiful piece. And Lee and I had a wonderful time working on this. I think we actually performed the other two movements a few years ago. So this is a three pieces called the Three Romance, Opus 94 of Schumann. Written at the end of his life. He had a very short, tragic life, very ill at the end. And this was written about 6, 7 years before he died, in what the historians refer to as his most productive, meaningful period in terms of his composition work. Lee's teacher suggested that actually this piece might have been written by Clara, his wife, who was a very, very talented pianist, probably the most talented performer in Europe at that time, and also she was a composer, and she did write, I think about 4 years later, a piece that was called The Three Romances for violin and piano. Schumann says in his own letters that he wrote this on the 7th, the 11th, and the 12th of December as a Christmas present for her. Wouldn't it be nice to be that talented that you can pull off a piece that's beautiful? So we're about to play in just 3 days. I wonder if he wrote one romance each of those 3 days. And anyway, there's much written about this wonderful love between these two incredible musicians. And Clara did write a piece for violin and piano. Did I mention that? About 4 years later. So it sounded to me as if at that time that his health was so precarious, and he described himself even as being a very difficult person to live with because he was always on the edge of some other world, that she did very little composing during the time that he was heading towards the end of his life. Anyway, this is an absolutely beautiful piece. It's like a duet between the two instruments. Oh, and I might mention all three of his pieces were done in an ABA form, and so this one is the same. And you'll hear that the B section, the middle section, is quite different from the A section. It's kind of tense and agitated. The oboe and the piano are in two different rhythmic patterns, and the dynamics are very unexpected and dramatic. And the other thing that I noted, that just in support of Lee, it says this is the only piece that Schumann wrote just for oboe and piano, and although it's not technically super difficult for the oboe, breathing-wise, it's incredibly difficult because he doesn't give you a chance.
Sometimes I end up playing violin music, but violinists have it so easy. They can breathe anytime they want.